I, for one, am trying to improve upon this channel and my criticisms. I am still going to be doing all 64 episodes of Cartoon Network 64. But the tone and possibly style are going to change. We'll be starting with Robot Jones with this new style. Why this episode when Grim and Evil was supposed to be next? Because Robot Jones was easier and more interesting. Let me know if you guys like this format in the comments below. And if it's good enough, we'll do the rest of the series like this.
Cartoon Friday.
Whatever happened to Robot Jones? That sounds like the name for a video essay for this show that does not exist. It was a show that aired on Cartoon Network in the early 2000s. It was entered in a contest to become a Cartoon Network TV show. While The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy won the contest with 57% of the vote, Robot Jones came in second place with 23% and was given its own series run beginning on July 19, 2002. From what I gather, Robot Jones beat Longhair and Double Dome. The show is about Robot Jones, a robot, attending a middle school to learn about human life. Why is he doing this? Because his parents told him to. Why do they want him to learn about human life? To know how humans are. Why in the middle school? Good question. I have one question to ask. Why? See, when I judge each and every show, I try my best to understand the time period that it came out. I know that robots in and of themselves aren't really used as protagonists that much in cartoons. I mean, robots have been in cartoons as early as, say, The Jetsons and Astro Boy. And Futurama was around this time, but we've never really seen the show star a robot as the main character. Robot Jones was the first in that regard, but as the saying goes, first is the worst, second is the best. Because shortly right after this cartoon came out, Nickelodeon would have their own show called My Life as a Teenage Robot, which was basically literally everything that Robot Jones should have been. It just makes Robot Jones so dated. Why was Teenage Robot better? A lot of reasons. It was a funnier show, it had more colorful animation, and it had a more memorable cast of characters. All of those things are what Robot Jones does not have. Probably also not helping this show is that the voice acting is not good. Actually no, it's not much that the voice acting's bad or anything. All the background and secondary characters sound fine. The only character that I can't stand is Robot Jones himself.
To avoid further embarrassment, please set me down. I can walk to school! I bet I could be class president of Polynew Middle School. I bet I could even be president of the United States. It is me, Robot. Your body type is too large for Team Unit. I am sorry that I am responding in such a strange manner.
I don't know if I ever stated this on my channel before, but I hate the sound of robots. Whenever I hear a robot voice, it sounds so cringy. It hurts my ears. It's one of the things that makes me jump instantly in fear. It's like my second most cringy sound ever, and the first is the sound of a bug buzzing. To give Robot Jones' voice credit, it is miles better than the original Robot Jones voice.
That human had no protective class layer.
Negative. Competition is illogical and extremely hazardous for machines.
I mean, at least the newer one does make him kind of sound like a kid. The original sounds like he's in his 30s, like twice or triple the age that he is supposed to be. I mean, what do you expect when you don't use an actual human being and instead a Microsoft Word 98 text-to-speech function? Yes, Robot Jones was originally voiced by a robot. How do you avoid this problem with a robot? Simple. You keep the robot as a robot, but you make the robot sound like a human. That's what makes My Life as a Teenage Robot work.
Jenny! Call me Jenny! I changed my name to Jenny, remember?
Jenny is a robot, yes, but because she sounds like an actual human, it means she's more of an enjoyable character. The same thing with Bender from Futurama.
Oh, sign my ass!
I never could stand robots that sound like actual robots. That's why I don't like the YouTube channel Just a Robot. Not because he's bad or anything. I've seen a couple of his videos and he seemed like a good guy. But his voice is why I never bother going back.
Reason number one is that my real life voice is quite annoying. So if you don't like the robot voice, well, you would probably not like my real voice either.
Robot voices are cringy to me. Often I can't tell what they're even saying. Then there's the animation. While there are definitely uglier Cartoon Network cartoons coming up, this one is cheap. How the hell do you look cheaper than the entirety of the What a Cartoon lineup? Even the Moxie show, the first Cartoon Network show ever, has better animation than this. This show's animation is bad. Like, it has the second worst quality of animation out of all the Cartoon Network cartoons. Some Cartoon Network shows make cuts to their animation using flash shortcuts, like Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. Some shows have their animation focus on the wrong things, like the Problem Solvers. Some shows feel too much like a still image and the character models hold still way too often, like Class of 3000. Robot Jones make cuts to their colors, and it basically looks unfinished. The only Cartoon Network cartoon to have worse animation than Robot Jones is Powerpuff Girls 2016, which basically has a combination of all the problems that I just mentioned. But let's really go more in-depth with Robot Jones' animation. Or rather, lack thereof. I love that they're called the Rainbows, when it seems like they went specifically out of their way to not use a single color of the rainbow. This show uses a lot of dark colors and gritty surroundings, but it's supposed to be a normal school, not, I don't know, a cemetery or Halloween. You ever see that troublemaking kid in the back who do random drawings in their notebook because school is too boring to them? But they're not actually good with their art, but they think to themselves that they are? That's what Robot Jones' art style looks like. Robot Jones has a stem that connects to the lower half of his body. It's supposed to be his neck, but half the time, they don't even bother showing that. So it looks like he's a floating head. Aesthetic-wise, it's supposed to feel like a retro-futuristic 1980s world, but it feels more like a typical bad 80s cartoon. As for the writing of this show, it's garbage. I can't say this would make the top 10 worst Cartoon Network cartoons of all time, but this show doesn't really have anything interesting to offer. It tells your most stereotypical middle school plots that you could do for kids, and does nothing else but have a stupid robot learn them. The Growth Spurt episode has a 4-foot kid grow into a 6-foot kid in one night. The politics one is about Robot Jones running for class president. The gender one is nothing more than your basic gender stereotypes. Half the time, this show beats down on Robot Jones, and the other half is him being an asshole. At least I think that's what it's trying to be. And this show can teach bad morals. The Rubik's Cube episode teaches that in life you need to cheat to win, which goes against every 80s moral ever. And then there are episodes that are just stupid, like Robot Jones thinking that a vacuum cleaner is an actual robot. And that episode is trying to teach a message that robots and humans can't get along. It's basically a dumber and watered down version of Mitchell's vs. the Machines. Also, it's kind of like To Love a Patty since Robot really loves the vacuum and everyone is weirded out by it. By the way, it has a cord, but never unplugged or tangled. The comedy? What comedy? Here's a scene of Jones's dad taking Robot Jones to school. He jumps on top of a car of a guy who was razor shaving while driving. Why would someone razor shave while driving? Do people actually do this? I'd say that this show was made by a robot, but that would be too easy of a joke. Actually, I'm more surprised that this show doesn't make that joke. So to answer this show's question, whatever happened to Robot Jones? Well, after watching the whole show, I can give you the correct answer. The show was so bad that nobody gave a fuck about it. And so it disappeared from everyone's memory. And it will disappear from everyone's memory again after this review is over. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this new format for Cartoon Network 64. And we will post more Cartoon Network 64 episodes for next month. See you all then! StarGiantProductions out!